Alrighty then. Welcome back, people. Now we gotta reassemble this gun. Alright. Just gotta do everything in reverse. And the first thing to do is to simply put the hammer back in. Now, this part right here where my finger is, you just simply slide into this recess right here. Just like that. The hammer position. And now I gotta put the screw back in, which is this right here. I put it in back in just a little bit. Get my screwdriver. Get it just like that. And screw it back in. Make sure it's on there nice and tight. Alright, now for this part. And it goes in. Let me get the screw off. Just like this, with this, my hands are very oily and a little slippery. With this going in like that. Just drop it in. Just like that. Well, I might have to play around a little bit here. Okay, I think that's good. And let's just line it up. It's not lined up. Okay. Hang on, a little snafu. There we go. Alright. Screw it in by hand. And don't worry if it falls and doesn't shove. Don't worry. And it goes right there. Okay, now for the trigger. And it goes right there. Let me just line it up, which is a little difficult. Alright. Screw it back in. Like that. Okay. Now for the trigger spring. The way you do it, so you just simply drop it in right there. And it's a little difficult to get it back in. And no, that's not the way to do it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so you gotta get it properly lined up, otherwise it is gonna be a real son of a bitch for it to get back in. And you just screw it back in. Okay, that's what it looks like. Just like that. Alright. Now we gotta get the frame back on. Let me take the screws out. Alright, just to show you the difference, these are the ones that go on the back. The little one goes on the front. And you just pop it in like that. Make sure the spring goes underneath, right there. Like that. Get the screws back in. And you might have to line things up a little bit. Put them in by hand to get them started. Get the other two ones in there first. And usually I like to do the two back ones first, get them started. And my throat's starting a little froggy. Okay, now for the front one. And I do apologize if it's out of frame. If it is, I'm sorry. I'm also going to do my best to try to narrate as well. Make sure I don't slip. And to make sure that you're understanding me and you understand what I'm doing. And okay. It's back together. And now put the trigger spring back on. And man, my hands are very oily and I got a bad case of butterfingers. And you just simply screw it back in. That's simple. That's why you never do that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. The reason why you don't do that is because it is a real pain in the ass for this to go back on. I'm hoping that it'll go back in. Let me just screw it back on by hand. Okay. And I got it back in. Woo! The first time I took this out, I took it all the way out just by accident, and it was a son of a bitch for it to get back on. And sorry for my swearing, but yeah, this thing was really fun to put back on. Not now, but the first time. Okay, we're good. Now to get the pistol grip back on. Just slip it on like that. And I usually like to do the bottom one first. Try and keep it in frame. Speaking of which, I should switch. Also, doing it from behind the camera, which is a little awkward for me. Don't screw it in all the ways. Matter of fact, I should probably back it out just a little bit. Okay. Not all the way out, just a little bit. Let me just make sure these are the same screws. Yes, they are. Okay, let's get him back on. And this is a little difficult. Well, not difficult, but a little tricky. You have to have everything lined up. Okay. Now for the bottom screw. And I'm about to go over my time limit. Oh, that's okay. Make sure they're all on good. so that I don't loosen up, which I hear they will loosen up over time. Well, not over time, but when you shoot. Okay, now to get the cylinder back on, just do it the same way. Just don't bring it back all the way and just slip it on. Now, let's get the barrel back on. And don't do it like that or that, just right through that one. Okay, let's get this back on. And the way you do it, you have the tab on the bottom. You just put it back on. And don't bother taking out that screw. Doesn't do any good. I have to give it some taps using the wooden part of your hammer. You just tap it. That's it. Let's make sure it's on secure. And it is. Okay. Now to put the loading rod back on. Take this swinging part right here, put it right there, and you just come on around. And you just simply screw it back on. And screw it back on. Make sure it's nice and tight. And voila. I'm going to do some check. Okay, we're good. Adios, people. Take care now.